Life is like driving a car through the busy streets of city. You are on a road full of honking vehicles, flashing signals, rushing bikes, buses crammed with people, and pedestrians running to cross before the light turns red. The whole atmosphere screams one thing: hurry up. Most of us live our lives exactly in this state, always rushing, always chasing, always thinking that if we just press the accelerator a little harder, we will finally reach some magical destination where happiness waits for us. But the truth, as Gaur Gopal gently reminds us in Life Amazing Secrets, is that driving fast without direction only leads to exhaustion, not fulfillment. And that's where the first secret of life begins, not in speeding up, but in slowing down. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you grab is your phone. Notifications flood your screen. Emails, messages, updates, and news alerts. Before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already in chaos. You feel like the world is demanding your attention, and you must comply. But in reality, you haven't even asked yourself one important question. Where am I going today? It's like starting your car, revving the engine, but not knowing which road you want to take. You might move, but you won't move meaningfully. This is a problem most of us face. We are living, but without clarity. We are driving, but without a destination. And when there is no clear destination, even the fastest car in the world cannot take you anywhere worthwhile. Gaur Gopal introduces us to this idea in such a relatable way by narrating his own journey in a friend's car. The car was luxurious, powerful, smooth, but none of that mattered when his friend didn't know where to go. Isn't that just like us? We upgrade our phones, chase promotions, buy better clothes, and dream of bigger houses. But in the rush to improve our car, we forget to check the map. And this is why we feel stuck. We think success is about having more, when in reality, success is about knowing why we're moving in the first place. Slowing down gives us a chance to ask the questions we often avoid. What is truly important to me? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Will this matter 10 years from now? The answers are not always simple, but they give us direction. A car without fuel will stop, but a car without direction will only run in circles. That's what so many people experience today. Circling endlessly in their careers, relationships, and habits, never feeling satisfied because they don't pause to decide where they truly want to go. Now, you may ask, if slowing down is a first step, doesn't that mean we'll miss opportunities? The truth is the opposite. Slowing down isn't about laziness. It's about mindfulness. Think of an archer pulling back a bowstring. The arrow goes farther only because the archer paused, aimed, and focused. Similarly, in life, taking a pause to reflect doesn't waste time. It saves time. It prevents us from shooting arrows into the darkness and hoping they hit something. Without reflection, we may climb the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. So how can we slow down in a world that constantly pushes us to rush? Gaur Gopal suggests very practical methods. Begin your mornings with stillness instead of screens. Spend even 5 minutes reflecting on what kind of day you want to create. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, because gratitude slows the racing mind and replaces it with peace. Practice mindful conversations. When someone is talking, don't rush to reply. Listen fully, as if their words are treasures. Most importantly, don't measure your day only by how much you finished, but by how meaningfully you lived. Another powerful lesson here is that life's value is not in its speed, but in its direction. Picture 2 runners. One sprints furiously on a treadmill, sweating and panting, but never moves an inch forward. Another jogs slowly but steadily on an open road, enjoying the breeze, observing the scenery, and inching closer to the mountain ahead. Who do you think is truly progressing? The second one, because direction is more important than speed. Similarly, you may feel like your life is moving too slowly compared to others. Maybe your friend got promoted faster, someone else got married earlier, or another bought a car before you. But their race is not your race. Slowing down means respecting your own pace and ensuring your steps align with your values. We also live in a culture of comparison, where social media constantly shows us highlight reels of other people's lives. This makes us press the accelerator harder because we feel left behind. But we forget that everyone's journey has different traffic, different turns, and different destinations. Your success cannot be measured by someone else's speed. The wisdom of slowing down is to stop comparing your lane with theirs and instead focus on steering your own car well. In the end, slowing down teaches us to live with awareness, gratitude, and purpose. It teaches us that the journey itself is as important as the destination. If we are only obsessed with the finish line, we miss the beauty of the ride, the laughter of friends, the comfort of family, the joy of small wins, the peace of a quiet morning. These are the flowers on the side of the road. If we drive too fast, we miss them all. Life is amazing not because we reach the end quickly, but because we truly live while driving through it. So, the first secret to life's amazing journey is simple but profound. Don't just drive. Know where you're going, and sometimes slow down enough to enjoy the view. A car doesn't run smoothly if even one wheel is damaged. You might have the best engine, a full tank of fuel, and a powerful steering wheel. But if a tire bursts, the journey becomes uncomfortable, even dangerous. In the same way, our life too runs on four wheels. These wheels are our personal life, relationships, work life, and social contribution. If any one of these is neglected, the ride becomes bumpy. Too often, we focus on only one wheel and forget the others. Some people pour everything into their career, but lose their family in the process. Others take care of their personal health, but contribute nothing to society. Some focus entirely on relationships, but ignore their own growth. True happiness lies not in maximizing one wheel, but in balancing all four. Let's start with the first wheel, personal life. This wheel includes our mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Imagine trying to drive on a wheel that is flat. It doesn't matter how well the other wheels are inflated, the ride will still be rough. In life, if we ignore our health, both body and mind, nothing else will feel fulfilling. You may achieve success at work, but if stress and anxiety consume you, what good is that success? You may gain wealth, but if your body is too weak to enjoy it, what's the point? Gaur Gopal reminds us that personal care isn't selfish, it's necessary. Just like on an airplane, where you are told to wear your oxygen mask first before helping others, you too must ensure your inner stability before you can contribute meaningfully outside. The second wheel is relationships. Human beings are not meant to live in isolation. We thrive when we love and are loved. Yet, many people neglect this wheel, assuming their family will always be there. But relationships, like plants, need nurturing. Without time, attention, and kindness, they wither. Think about it. When was the last time you had a heartfelt conversation with your parents, spouse, or children without distraction? Or when was the last time you reached out to a friend just to check on them? Not because you needed something. A car with a wobbly wheel will shake the whole vehicle. Similarly, unresolved conflicts and weak relationships shake the stability of our lives. The solution is not complicated. Listening more, forgiving faster, appreciating often, and expressing love sincerely. These small acts repair and strengthen the wheel of relationships. The third wheel is work life. Work gives us purpose, structure, and financial security. It's where we spend a huge part of our day. So naturally, it shapes our self-esteem and sense of accomplishment. However, work becomes a problem when it dominates our identity. Many people say, "I am my job," forgetting that their worth is not tied to a designation or salary. Success at work is important, but not at the cost of health or family. On the other hand, some people neglect work altogether, expecting life to reward them without effort. Balance is the key. Approach your work with sincerity, excellence, and integrity, but also remember, work is what you do, not who you are. If your car's wheel is overinflated, it can burst. Similarly, if you overinflate the importance of your career, it can collapse under pressure. Finally, the fourth wheel is contribution to society. This wheel is often forgotten because we get caught up in our own struggles. But ask yourself, what kind of car journey is meaningful if you never stop to help another traveler stranded on the road? Contribution doesn't always mean donating millions. It can be as simple as offering your time, knowledge, or compassion. Gaur Gopal emphasizes that the deepest fulfillment comes from giving, not just receiving. When we contribute, we move from a self-centered life to a meaningful life. Imagine a life where you worked hard, had a family, took care of your health, but left no positive impact on others. wouldn't something still feel incomplete? Contribution fills that emptiness. Now, you might wonder, how do we practically balance these four wheels? It's not easy, especially in today's fast-paced lifestyle. The answer lies in conscious prioritization. Each day, make sure you touch all four areas, even if in small ways. For personal life, maybe it's a 20-minute walk or reading a book that nourishes your mind. For relationships, it could be a phone call to a loved one. For work, it's giving your best effort with focus. For contribution, it's helping a colleague, mentoring someone, or simply being kind to a stranger. Over time, these small acts add up, keeping all four wheels aligned. Think of a time when you focused too much on one wheel. Perhaps you worked long hours, climbing the career ladder, but your health deteriorated, or your family felt neglected. Did that success really feel successful? Or maybe you invested all your energy into relationships, try and please everyone, but forgot your personal growth, leaving you feeling empty. Balance doesn't mean equal time. It means enough time. Just as a skilled driver adjusts pressure on the wheels according to the road, you too must adjust your attention to the four areas based on your current stage of life. One of the most powerful reflections Gaur Gopal offers is this: happiness is not the result of external achievements. It is the outcome of balanced living. Imagine driving a perfectly balanced car. The ride is smooth, the journey enjoyable, and the destination reachable. But if even one wheel deflates, the entire experience suffers. The same is true of life. No matter how successful you are in one area, if another area is broken, your joy will leak away. Balance is not a luxury. It is the foundation of happiness. And here lies the second secret of life's amazing journey. Check your four wheels often. Nurture them, balance them, and never forget that a smooth ride depends on all of them, not just one. Have you ever noticed how a child's face lights up with excitement over the simplest things? A candy, a balloon, or even just a chance to play outside. For them, the world is full of wonders. But as we grow older, that sense of wonder fades. We start focusing more on what we lack than on what we have. I'll be happy when I buy that car. I'll feel complete when I earn more money. I'll be satisfied when people appreciate me. Life becomes a never-ending chase, where happiness is always in the next milestone, but never in the present moment. This is where Gaur Gopal introduces us to one of life's most amazing secrets, the practice of gratitude. Gratitude transforms the lens through which we see the world. It turns ordinary days into blessings, problems into lessons, and little things into enough. Think of life as a glass of water. Some people look at the glass and complain it's half empty. Others see it and celebrate that it's half full. Gratitude is about training ourselves to see the fullness, not the emptiness. It's not about ignoring our struggles, but about appreciating what we already have while we work on what we don't. And this shift is powerful because what we focus on grows. If you constantly focus on what's missing, your mind magnifies that emptiness, making you feel more deprived. But if you focus on what you already have, you create a sense of abundance, which brings peace, joy, and even motivation to do better. Many people think gratitude is something you feel occasionally when something big happens, like getting a promotion or celebrating a birthday. But true gratitude is not an occasional feeling. It's a daily practice. It's about waking up each morning and acknowledging the miracle of being alive. It's about eating a meal and remembering that millions go hungry. It's about having a roof over your head and realizing what a blessing that is. We take so many things for granted until they're gone. Gratitude prevents us from waiting for loss to teach us value. There's an old saying, what if you woke up tomorrow with only the things you thank God for today? Pause for a moment and think, what would remain in your life? Gratitude is a reminder to notice the gifts we usually overlook. The beating of your heart, the breath in your lungs, the love of your family, the friends who care, the opportunities waiting for you. These are treasures. And when you focus on them, you start to see that life isn't as lacking as it sometimes feels. Now, you might wonder, how does gratitude practically change our lives? Let's take relationships as an example. Often, relationships weaken not because of lack of love, but because of lack of appreciation. We notice what our partner didn't do, but overlook what they did. We focus on flaws, forgetting the goodness. But when we express gratitude, sincerely saying, "Thank you for the small acts," it strengthens bonds. It makes people feel valued. In workplaces, too, teams perform better when leaders show gratitude rather than only criticism. A simple acknowledgement of effort can inspire more than 100 demands ever could. Gratitude builds bridges where complaints build walls. Another powerful effect of gratitude is that it reduces stress. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One keeps honking, cursing, and feeling frustrated. The other turns on music, breathes deeply, and reminds himself he's lucky to own a car in the first place. The situation is the same, but the experience is completely different. Gratitude doesn't remove challenges, but it changes how we carry them. Instead of being crushed by burdens, we carry them with resilience because we know life also carries blessings. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean we stop striving for more. It simply means we strive with contentment instead of desperation. Gaur Gopal explains it beautifully. Gratitude and ambition are not enemies. They are partners. Gratitude keeps us grounded in the present, while ambition motivates us toward the future. When we balance both, we live joyfully today while working purposefully for tomorrow. Without gratitude, ambition becomes greed. Without ambition, gratitude becomes stagnation. Together, they create harmony. So, how can we cultivate gratitude in practical ways? Here are a few simple yet powerful practices. Morning reflection. Start your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. Even something as simple as, "I'm grateful for my morning tea" works. This sets a positive tone for the day. Gratitude journal. Write down moments each night that brought you joy or comfort. Over time, this journal becomes a reminder that even tough days had blessings. Express it. Don't just feel grateful. Say it. Send a message, make a call, or simply tell someone, "I appreciate you." Express gratitude multiplies happiness. Shift perspective when facing a problem. Ask, "What can this teach me?" Or, "What's still good despite this challenge?" This reframes struggles into lessons. One of the most moving stories Gaur Gopal shares is about people who, despite facing hardships, radiate joy because they choose gratitude. He recalls meeting individuals who had far less than most of us materially, but had far more peace and contentment. Their secret wasn't wealth, power, or fame. It was their grateful hearts. They had mastered the art of seeing blessings even in adversity. Let's imagine 2 lives. The first is of a person who achieves every milestone, wealth, status, possessions, but always feels it's not enough. The second is of a person who may not have everything, but feels deeply grateful for what they do have. Who do you think lives a happier life? The answer is obvious. Gratitude is not about the size of your blessings, but about the size of your perspective. And here lies the third secret of life's amazing journey. Happiness doesn't come from getting everything you want. It comes from wanting and valuing what you already have. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. Every great journey is not only about the roads we travel outside, but also about the landscapes we navigate within ourselves. Our greatest victories and defeats are not in the boardrooms, classrooms, or stadiums. They are in the quiet chambers of our mind. Gaur Gopal calls the mind both a best friend and a worst enemy, depending on how we train it. If left unchecked, the mind pulls us into worry, fear, and endless dissatisfaction. But if we master it, the mind becomes our greatest ally, guiding us toward clarity, peace, and purposeful living. Think of your mind as a restless monkey. Left alone, it jumps from branch to branch, dwelling on the past, worrying about the future, comparing with others, creating unnecessary fears. One moment it's excited, the next moment it's depressed. If you've ever found yourself wide awake at night replaying an old argument or imagining worst-case scenarios, you've experienced this monkey mind firsthand. Now imagine trying to drive a car while the monkey inside constantly grabs the steering wheel. The ride will be chaotic, maybe even dangerous. This is exactly why mastering the mind is one of the greatest secrets to an amazing life. But how do we begin this mastery? The first step is awareness. Too often, we live unconsciously, letting thoughts control us without even noticing them. The practice of awareness, pausing to observe what the mind is doing, creates space between me and my thoughts. For example, Instead of saying, I am angry, awareness lets us say, I am noticing anger. This simple shift stops the emotion from consuming us completely. Just like a driver who sees a warning light on the dashboard, awareness helps us recognize the problem before it becomes a breakdown. The second step is discipline. Just as a wild horse must be trained before it can be ridden, the mind needs discipline to serve us. Practices like meditation, prayer, or simply mindful breathing are powerful tools. They help calm the restless monkey, teaching it to sit still. Imagine the strength of a mind that is not swayed by every insult, not broken by every failure, not distracted by every temptation. That mind is like a calm ocean, deep, vast, and powerful. Storms may rage above, but beneath the surface, it remains steady. One of the greatest battles we face within is the battle of desires. The mind constantly whispers, I need this to be happy. I need that to feel complete. But once we get it, the satisfaction fades and a new desire takes its place. This endless cycle is what keeps people chasing without peace. Gaur Gopal explains that true mastery is not in killing desires, but in regulating them. Some desires are healthy, like the desire to grow, to learn, to serve. But when desires become uncontrolled, like greed, lust, or envy, they turn toxic. Mastery means steering our mind so it serves us, not enslaves us. Another battle is the one between positivity and negativity. The mind can be a garden of flowers or a jungle of weeds. Every thought we allow is like a seed. If we constantly feed it with complaints, gossip, and fear, the weeds of negativity overgrow, choking joy. But if we feed it with gratitude, kindness, and hope, the flowers of positivity bloom. The challenge is that weeds grow naturally. Flowers need deliberate planting. This means we must consciously choose what we read, watch, and listen to, because the mind absorbs everything. Just as you wouldn't pour poison into your drinking water, why pour negativity into your mind daily through toxic media and conversations? The mind is also where the battles of identity are fought. Many of us struggle with questions like, am I good enough? Do I matter? These doubts come from comparing ourselves with others, a habit fueled by social media and societal pressure. Mastering the mind means reminding ourselves, I am not defined by likes, followers, or job titles. My worth is inherent. A lion doesn't need the approval of the jungle to know it is powerful. Similarly, you don't need constant validation to recognize your value. When the mind understands this truth, it stops begging for approval and starts living with dignity. So, how do we practically train the mind daily? Gaur Gopal suggests small but consistent practices. Morning rituals. Begin the day with silence, prayer, or meditation instead of rushing to your phone. It sets the tone for the day. Mindful pauses. Throughout the day, take short breaks to breathe and check in with yourself. Ask, what is my mind focused on right now? Is it helping me or hurting me? Positive feeding. Read uplifting books, listen to motivational talks, or surround yourself with people who inspire you. Service. When we help others, our mind shifts from me to we, reducing ego-driven anxieties. Stories often illustrate this best. There's a famous tale of two wolves inside us, one of anger, jealousy, greed, and fear, the other of love, kindness, peace, and gratitude. The wolf that wins is the one we feed. Mastering the mind is about feeding the right wolf every single day. When the mind is mastered, life changes dramatically. Failures become lessons, not disasters. Criticism becomes feedback, not an attack. Waiting becomes patience, not frustration. Challenges become opportunities, not curses. In short, we stop being victims of circumstance and start becoming creators of experience. This is why spiritual traditions across the world emphasize mind control. It is the root of all happiness and suffering. At the end of the day, remember this truth. The world outside us is never fully in our control. Traffic jams will happen. People will disappoint. Plans will fail. But the world inside us, our mind, can be trained. And when we win the battle within, no battle outside can defeat us. Thus, the fourth secret of life's amazing journey is this. Master your mind and you master your life. Without it, even the best roads will feel rough. With it, even the toughest roads can feel smooth. If life is a journey, Then relationships are the companions who walk alongside us. What good is it to reach the top of the mountain if you stand there all alone? The laughter, the tears, the shared memories, these are what make the ride worth it. Yet, relationships today are more fragile than ever. Families sit at the same table but speak less than strangers online. Friendships that once felt unbreakable now fade with distance or ego. Couples who promise forever often give up at the first storm. Why? Because we forget that relationships, just like cars, require regular maintenance. They don't run smoothly forever on their own. They need care, attention, and effort. Gaur Gopal emphasizes that relationships are built on 3 pillars: understanding, communication, and forgiveness. Let's take the first, understanding. Too often, we listen not to understand, but to reply. Think of how many arguments could be avoided if we simply pause to see from the other person's perspective. Understanding doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means respecting that the other person's feelings are valid. Imagine a bridge. If it only extended halfway, people could never meet. Similarly, without understanding, relationships collapse halfway. The second pillar is communication. Miscommunication is like a pothole in the road. It may seem small, but if ignored, it can damage the whole vehicle. Many relationships suffer not from a lack of love, but from a lack of clear communication. Silence, assumptions, and unspoken expectations create walls. For example, a spouse might feel unloved because their partner never expresses appreciation, while the partner thinks, "Of course they know I love them." But love unspoken often feels like love absent. Healthy communication is not about speaking more. It's about speaking with honesty, kindness, and clarity. A simple, "Thank you," "I appreciate you," or "How are you really feeling?" can repair cracks before they turn into breaks. The third pillar is forgiveness. No matter how close we are, misunderstandings and mistakes are inevitable. Holding on to grudges is like driving a car with the handbrake pulled. The journey becomes heavy and slow. Forgiveness is not about saying the wrong was okay. It's about choosing not to let bitterness poison the road ahead. Think of it this way. When you forgive, you're not doing a favor to the other person. You're freeing yourself from carrying the burden of anger. A car cannot move smoothly if it's overloaded with unnecessary weight, and neither can a heart filled with resentment. One of the biggest challenges in modern relationships is ego. Ego whispers, "Why should I apologize first? Why should I compromise? Why should I make the effort?" But when 2 egos collide, the relationship breaks. Humility, on the other hand, builds bridges. Saying, "I'm sorry," or "I was wrong," does not make you smaller. It makes the relationship stronger. In fact, true strength lies in the ability to bend, not in standing rigid. A tree that refuses to bend in the storm gets uprooted, while the one that bows survives. Another challenge is the illusion of perfection. Social media shows us glamorous couples, smiling families, and perfect friendships. We start comparing, thinking, "Why doesn't my relationship look like that?" But perfection is a myth. Every relationship has its struggles behind the scenes. Comparing ours to someone else's highlight reel only creates dissatisfaction. Real love is not about never fighting. It's about fighting together, not against each other. It's about weathering the storms and choosing to stay. Practical ways to strengthen relationships are surprisingly simple, yet we often overlook them. Here are a few timeless practices. Time. Give your loved ones undivided time. Not scrolling on your phone while half listening, but truly being present. Appreciation. Notice the little things and acknowledge them. A word of gratitude can heal more than a dozen gifts. Small acts. Relationships are built not on grand gestures, but on small, consistent acts of kindness. Respect. Disagree without disrespect. Arguments are natural, but insults leave scars. Quality conversations. Talk beyond logistics. Don't just discuss bills, chores, or schedules. Ask about dreams, fears, and feelings. Gaur Gopal beautifully explains that relationships are like bank accounts. Every kind word, act of care, or moment of attention is a deposit. Every harsh word, broken promise, or neglect is a withdrawal. If you keep withdrawing without depositing, the account will go bankrupt. But if you keep investing love and care, it grows with interest. The richest people in life are not those with the most money, but those with the fullest relationship accounts. There's also a spiritual dimension to relationships. When we see others not just as roles, my spouse, my friend, my colleague, but as souls, we interact with more compassion. Everyone is fighting their own battles, carrying hidden burdens. When we remember this, we stop judging harshly and start supporting gently. Imagine this. You're driving with your best friend. The road is rough, the car shakes, and you hit a few bumps. But because you're laughing, sharing stories, and singing along, the ride feels joyful. Now imagine driving the same road alone, in silence, with no one to talk to. Which ride feels better? Relationships don't remove the bumps of life, but they make the journey meaningful. At the end of the day, the art of relationships is not about finding perfect people. It's about choosing to love imperfect ones consistently. It's about giving more than taking, understanding more than judging, and staying even when it's difficult. And here lies the fifth secret of life's amazing journey. Relationships are not about holding hands when the sun is shining. They are about holding hearts when the storm is raging. Build bridges, not walls, and the journey will never feel lonely. At the end of every journey comes a question. Did I reach where I was meant to go? Life is no different. We may drive the fanciest cars, live in the tallest buildings, and climb the highest ladders of success. But if we never stop to ask, what is the purpose of my life? Then all our achievements can feel strangely empty. This is why Gaur Gopal calls us to discover the final and perhaps most powerful secret of living: purpose. Purpose is the compass that gives direction when the road feels confusing. Without it, life feels like wandering in circles. With it, even the hardest paths feel meaningful. What is purpose? Many mistake it for ambition or goals. But purpose is deeper. Ambition asks, what can I achieve for myself? Purpose asks, what can I give to the world? Ambition satisfies the ego. Purpose nourishes the soul. A person driven only by ambition may reach great heights, but still feel lonely at the top. A person guided by purpose, even if they don't achieve worldly fame, experiences an inner joy that no applause can match. Purpose is not about doing something grand. It is about doing something meaningful. Think of history's greatest figures: saints, leaders, inventors, teachers. Their lives were not perfect, but they were purposeful. They lived not just for themselves, but for something bigger. Purpose gave them strength to endure hardship, courage to stand against odds, and joy even amidst struggle. We may not all become world leaders, but we all have a unique purpose, a way to use our gifts, talents, and experiences to serve others. The tragedy of life is not death. It is living without ever discovering why we were born. So, how do we discover our purpose? Gaur Gopal suggests reflecting on 3 key questions. What am I good at? Your natural talents and skills are not accidents. They are clues. If you write well, speak well, heal well, organize well, these are tools given to you for a reason. What I love doing. Passion is the fuel that keeps you going when things get hard. Purpose often lies where passion and skill meet. Who can I serve with this? Purpose always goes beyond me. It becomes powerful when it touches others. For example, a teacher's purpose is not just to cover a syllabus, but to shape young minds. A doctor's purpose is not only to cure diseases, but to give hope. A parent's purpose is not merely to provide food and shelter, but to nurture values. Even the smallest act, when done with a spirit of service, becomes purposeful. Living with purpose also means embracing challenges as part of the journey. A purpose-driven life is not free of difficulties. If anything, it may face more obstacles, but purpose makes struggles worthwhile. Think of a mother caring for her child. Sleepless nights, endless responsibilities. But ask her if it's worth it, and she will smile because her love gives meaning to her sacrifice. Similarly, when we know our purpose, pain transforms into perseverance, and obstacles turn into stepping stones. Another important aspect of purpose is that it evolves. What you feel called to do at May 20th be different at 40. At one stage, your purpose may be building your career. Later, it may be mentoring others. At one stage, it may be about raising your family. Later, it may be about contributing to society. The key is to remain flexible, listening to life's whispers and adjusting your direction. Just as a car's GPS recalculates when a road changes, we too must realign when our circumstances shift. But here's a danger: confusing busyness with purpose. Many people are endlessly busy but not truly fulfilled. They run all day, tick off tasks, and collapse into bed exhausted, only to repeat the cycle. Busyness keeps us occupied. Purpose keeps us alive. That is why reflection is essential. Ask yourself regularly, is what I'm doing taking me closer to the life I truly want to live? Or am I just moving without meaning? Living with purpose also brings peace when facing life's end. Imagine reaching your final day, looking back, and realizing you lived not just for yourself, but for others, that you touched lives, made a difference, and left the world a little better. That thought alone is enough to bring deep fulfillment. Success may fade, wealth may be spent, fame may be forgotten, but the impact of a purposeful life echoes long after we're gone. So, how do we start living with purpose right now? Begin small. Look for daily opportunities to add value. A kind word to a stranger, a helping hand to a colleague, a listening ear to a friend. These may seem small, but collectively, they shape a life of purpose. Over time, align your bigger goals with the spirit of contribution. Whether you're an entrepreneur, artist, teacher, or student, ask not only, what can I get, but also, what can I give? Spiritual wisdom adds another layer. Our ultimate purpose is connection to our inner self, to others, and to the divine. When we live in alignment with higher values like love, service, and humility, every act, big or small, becomes sacred. Cooking a meal for your family becomes an offering. Doing your work with honesty becomes worship. Helping someone in need becomes prayer. Purpose elevates the ordinary into extraordinary. In the end, life is not measured by the miles we drove, but by the meaning we created. When we balance our four wheels, personal life, relationships, work, and contribution, and fuel them with gratitude, mindfulness, and love, we reach not just destinations, but fulfillment. And when purpose becomes a compass guiding us, every road, no matter how winding, becomes worth traveling. And that brings us to the final secret of life's amazing journey. Don't just live by default, live by design. Don't just exist, live with purpose. Because when you do, every step, every moment, every breath becomes part of a journey that is not only amazing, but also truly meaningful.